On a day like this, nothing can make you feel better. Or can it? Actually, there's something that can. It's fluffy and playful and it has 4 legs! Or maybe it's feathery with 2 legs. That's right. You guessed it. On today's Wellcast, we're talking about pets and how they can actually improve your mood and your health.
Whenever I feel upset about something, I find comfort in my pets. I have 3 dogs and 2 cats that help when I'm sad. I love to play with them or just pet them, and it takes my mind off whatever's bothering me. It's kind of like an informal animal-assisted therapy session. Animal-assisted therapy, or AAT, is a little more than just petting and hanging out with dogs, though. The goal of AAT is to improve a patient's social, emotional, or cognitive functioning, and it can be useful or educational and motivational effectiveness for participants. It can also be used to help treat physical disabilities as well as mental and emotional. Animals that are commonly used in pet therapy are domesticated animals like dogs and cats, farm animals, and sometimes marine animals like dolphins. In 1984, Wilson's biophilia hypothesis was based on the premise that our attachment to and interest in animals today stems from the fact that human survival was partly dependent on signals from animals in the environment indicating safety or threat in the past. The biophilia hypothesis suggests that now, if we see animals at rest or in a peaceful state, this signals to us safety, security, and feelings of well-being, which in turn may trigger a state where personal change and healing are possible. That possibility of change and healing is where animal-assisted therapy is helpful. Our attachment to animals first began in the days of hunting and gathering, when animals and animal spirits were believed to have supernatural powers. The earliest reported use of animal-assisted therapy for the mentally ill took place in the late 18th century at the York Retreat in England, led by William Tuke. Patients at this facility were allowed to wander the grounds which contained a population of small domestic animals. These animals were believed to be effective tools for socialization. Sigmund Freud often had his dog present during psychoanalysis sessions, which helped his patients to open up because they found that their speech wouldn't disturb or shock the dog. It was calming for the patients to see that the dog was peaceful no matter what they said. Dr. Boris Levinson also accidentally discovered the use of pet therapy with children when he left his dog alone with a difficult child. When he got back, he found the child talking to the dog. Today, animal-assisted therapy is used in a number of different places: prisons, nursing homes, hospitals and psychiatric hospitals, the military, and in the home are all places that AAT has been used. Here is just one example of how AAT is used today.
They visited patients hospitalized with heart failure, patients like Michael Johnson, who waits for a new heart.
If you can't have family or friends here, they're kind of like the next best thing, I think, and I always feel a little bit better afterwards.
I think we've always known that dogs have made people feel better, and this study was conducted to validate and lend credibility to the field of animal-assisted therapy.
As you enter the room, the patient will smile at you, they'll look at your dog, and they'll welcome your animal with open arms and can't wait to get that dog, your dog, on their bed. And they just look forward to these scheduled visits. This is the best part of their day, by far.
It really changes the whole environment for them in the hospital for the time that the dogs are there.
I think the dogs have something that we don't understand that they can give to the patients.
Animal-assisted therapy sessions vary, but the first few begin with developing a trust and bond between the patient and the animal. The patient is taught motor skills like feeding the animal treats or grooming the animal. Then comes an introduction of verbal skills using commands such as stay and sit. The client is asked to perform tasks like getting water and food for their animal to improve motor functions like walking. Positive social interactions with animals is translated and generalized to positive human interactions. Patients are eventually given power and independence with the freedom to make choices for the AAT partner. Animal-assisted therapy reduces stress and anxiety levels in patients and students as well. It benefits children in a classroom setting because the animal seems non-judgmental, so it is seen as comforting. It raises the child's self-esteem and makes it easier for the child to express themselves in the class. Here's another example of how AAT helps children in hospitals.
He is our resident MD, our medical dog.
Yeah, say Ainsley, let's go.
Haley, she's been working on her walking. Before she started working with Ainsley, she would sometimes have some fits. When they brought Ainsley into her therapy sessions, she has walked him all over our unit, which has really helped her her walking and her strength and endurance. I believe that Ainsley knows that he's meant to be a working dog. In speech, I might have patients give Ainsley commands. In physical therapy, our patients will often work on standing with him in the parallel bars or walking with him. In occupational therapy, they might have the children use a weak arm or hand to brush him or pet him or throw the ball for him or even hold his leash. In therapeutic recreation, they do an assortment of all of those things.
One doctor conducted a study over a 2-month period using therapy dogs in an outpatient pain management clinic. Patients sat in either a normal waiting room or a room with a therapy dog in it. Results demonstrated that there were significant improvements on pain, mood, and other distressful measures when patients or family members were placed in the room with the dog. They concluded that patients visited by these therapy dogs have a reduction in their pain rating and an improvement in their overall mood. There are other animals used in this type of therapy, not just dogs. Dolphins are also used, but it has been criticized for not being as effective long-term. Horses are also used too. In hippotherapy, physical, occupational, and speech-language therapy treatment is used that utilizes the movement of the horse as part of the program to achieve functional outcomes. The patient is with the therapist at all times. In therapeutic horseback riding, it is a riding lesson adapted to individuals with disabilities and is conducted in a group format. No matter what kind of animal is used, animal-assisted therapy is shown to work with calming patients and helping boost their emotional well-being, at least for a short period of time.
Don't think these dogs are all work and no play. At home, the therapy dogs are just like your four-legged friend. Although the program takes a lot of hard work and dedication for both the pet and the owners, everyone agrees it is well worth it.
There's